Welcome, Lords and Ladies of Fate. In this stream, we play various tabletop role playing games as you, the audience, earn fate chips that can be used to reward or punish your favorite players or the characters. You can earn fate chips by watching, following, hosting, subscribing, or just contributing to the game. And then you use those fate chips to heal characters, adjust their next skill checks, force them to say silly lines, or just wreak havoc on the story. Tonight, we're playing Star Trek Adventures. Before we begin, though, we'll award 200 fate chips to anybody in chat that can tell us the main theme of Ball's backstory from last week's episode. But while we're waiting for those responses, these are the voyages of the Starship Norway. Its 5-day mission to explore the appearance of the long-lost Kitty Hawk. Our crew consists of Captain Roland Sykes, being played by Armand. Commander Ball, being played by Nat, myself. We've got Sivek, Lieutenant Commander Sivek, being played by Good Devil. Lieutenant Commander Bajor, being played by Rockosaurus Rex. And Lieutenant Commander Arya, being played by Amanda. And to mediate the will of the fates for this voyage is our Wayne, our very own Q.
Hello, everyone. I hope that you're all racking what few neurons you seem to possess in attempting to figure out what the interesting side trek was and what its theme was all about.
Atlas got it with family.
Are you sure? Let me check the records to see how the trial of our then lieutenant happened.
That's a lot of family.
All I'm going to say is I was about to whip out the Archie Bunker episodes and also things that matter for 1000 Alex. My heyday was also in the 80s.
There we go. Got the fate chips assigned.
Have you all gotten your rewards for even the modicum of social interaction? I do not know what is becoming of lower life forms at this point. However, what happened last week? Let's see if the captain can bumble his way through remembering with his puny mind what happened in session 3.
Captain's log, supplemental. We find ourselves on a Romulan ship, 1,500 years in the past. Fortunately, my chief engineer has taken on some kind of illness and has collapsed. I probably should have had the doctor take a look at him, but he seemed like everything was fine, just a little bit more Vulcan-y than I'm used to. But my hope now is that we can figure out how to get out of here, and hopefully it's not too late to save my chief engineer. He's a good friend, I guess. Do Vulcans have friends? Computer unknown.
Yes, so here we all are. Our engineer Sivik has gone from lethargic to simply thargic, as he thargicked upon the floor. He is still in his spacesuit. It's not my fault that your mind works the way it is. You need to take that up with your manufacturer. Doctor,
Yes.
you and Lieutenant Gemma were moving to establish aid. Meanwhile, Ball seems to have been distracted for a bit.
Commander, is everything okay?
Yes, sir. Lost in thought for a second, that's all.
Okay, there is, believe it or not, some not unsurprising confusion with Kurith and Lieutenant K, as well as their 2 crew that they brought with them, about what is exactly happening. So, what actions do you guys do you wish to take? I suspect that this might be something medical wants to take point on.
Yes. It looks like his uranium defibrillator might have gone off in his pocket and exposed his brain to some kind of waves. So Gemma and I are going to need to take him to medical and assess the situation further. I'm not going to say I told you so.
I appreciate that.
Yes, Captain.
I have a potential. Oh no, I do not have a note yet. All right. Would you? There is a medical. Kurith will have a Romulan accompany you to their what could be passively called a medical facility on a 26th century starship by Romulans. What are the rest of you going to do?
I want more information from Lieutenant Dane about exactly what happened to the Kitty Hawk that caused this issue, and what we need to do to correct it.
Okay. Is that what's doing any of the or well says that we can speak of this in the conference room, as is the Aunt Romulan.
Oh yes, Romulan protocol. That's exactly what I came here to follow. Let's go to the conference room, because it's also what we would be doing if we were on the Norway. So.
All right. So, do I have everyone's permission to move them to the location?
Yes.
Yes.
Emma and are the only ones medical, correct?
Oh, you broke it up there for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that medical was that they were ready for that medical was where only 2 people were going. Correct?
I'd work on curing him in the conference room, but every other time I've ever split up a party, it's just gone really, really well. So.
Remember, this is Star Trek. So it's okay to when it's okay to split the party, or just not check for traps. I'm going to move you guys to a medical facility, and this would be our 2 medical officers, and we're going to ignore the fact that there's a patient in the bed. I'm just going to move you right onto there.
As with life.
As with life. And I'm going to have an additional Romulan show up. Copy. And of course, we don't have all that. All right. There. All right. A Romulan comes with you, or you come into the medical bay. You're accompanied by good old Romulan 4, and the ship is very cramped by any standard, by any stretch of the imagination. Romulan ship, the Starfleet ships of this era, were really packed in, and Romulan ships were even more so, because that's the way to be tough. So what you can do is begin some diagnostics on him.
Yes.
And this is Dr. Herjo. Centurion 5th class Art Romulan 4 just informs him that the commander has sent them down. The Vulcan is taken ill. You are to assist, and then he just kind of fucks off.
Oh, I wanted to ask him a question. I wanted to know if he numbers his his assistants by height, by age, or if it's just randomly assigned.
We all get promoted in the Empire. In the Empire, we are all promoted as needed. Do you know how many? I seem to remember a thing called Moonbase Alpha when they seem to always have Eagle 1.
Yeah,
Similar.
before Gemma was bumped up in rank, before she was promoted, we used to call her number 4 as well. We used to number them in the order in which we met them. It was easier to remember, although they thought it was hazing.
No, whoever serves in medical is automatically sub-Centurion 4. Makes it easier for the senior staff. We don't have to get too attached.
Anyway, we need to run diagnostics
That's
on.
something you know something about. Security back. That's
We
not
need
to get too attached. But yes.
We need to run diagnostics on Mr. Civic because we are attached to him, and I believe he is attached to his remaining limbs. So I'm going to roll medicine and insight.
Sure. You go right ahead. You decide what you're doing.
I don't know where your sheet is.
Dude, you just totally called me out.
Not sheet, like with an accent. Just trying to keep it clean for the kids. Anyway.
Oh, I think I've used up the one F-bomb for this little cosmic debacle.
Mommy, what are neurons? Why is the Hat Man so mean?
Mean because, well, tough love on a cosmic sense. However, there is a as you'll wave a light over it, you're going to have need one success to run a basic diagnostic.
20-sided, right?
Yes, you have two 20-sided dice. Your target number is your reason plus intuition plus medicine.
So it's 13, and I rolled a 3.
All right. What do you have any focuses that would deal with disease or neuroscience?
I have infectious disease, xenobiology, and emergency medicine. And I would argue that at least one of them applies in this situation.
Which means also that 3 probably generated a critical success. Which is
is it emergency medicine, Captain? Is it an emergency now?
I'd say it's an emergency now.
I don't know. We can ask Civic if he ever wakes up. If Civic ever gets done lollygagging, soldier. You also have yes. So what I'm going to do is you generated how many successes?
I rolled a 3 against a 13.
You get 2 dice. So
I didn't. I'm sorry. Okay.
Base rolls for everybody are 2 dice.
I just rolled a 3 again.
Well, aren't we special? Yes. We're so happy.
Gemma, it's you.
That looks suspiciously like a GIF that you just pasted in there. I believe that would be beautiful. So, what we're going to do is I've got to send you homework somewhere. Where would homework best go to? Do you have? Are you? We're in Skype.
You can put it in the Discord. I can do it. I don't like doing it on my screen because I feel like I pan around, but I've got my phone to roll on, so you can send it to the Discord and I can see it.
Okay, I'm sending this direct to you on Discord.
I have a question real quick, like housekeeping. John is muted right now. Am I a little less echoey than usual or no different? Or
Yeah, I think it sounds very clear tonight.
Okay. Has it so far, even when he had his mic on?
I didn't notice anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
okay. Me neither.
I'm trying to speak softly so he doesn't pick up, but softly is not really my thing, so.
Well, I think the more rankus it gets, the better as time rolls on. And speaking of which, I have given you some information of what might possibly be something you found abnormal in his nervous system. And I'm going to let you read that and digest it and make of it what you will. I am also going to say that I know that you as a player are a scientist of, you're a sciencey person. You can Google in and a few other things, but the very last disease is the one I would kind of focus on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now
Although, we
what?
could keep it on the family theme. I'm just kidding. I
Oh
like the
yeah,
list.
yeah. Oh no, we can do that too. You just make your own theme. Today's theme, disease. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the remaining characters into an urgent conference room, because that is how we roll in Star Trek, correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to go, oh, good Lord.
I would like to say something to my my chief of security before we enter the conference room.
I'm going to stage you, but
That's fine. I'm going to kind of like grab him by the arm and pull him off to the side as everyone else is entering in and go, Lieutenant Commander, I don't have to tell you that the Romulans of this time are just as devious as the Romulans from our time, so I want you to make sure that you are keeping a very watchful eye on what is going on here. Don't let Kurith out of your sight. Good talk. I will assume that he affirmed, aye, sir.
All right. Yep. So what we'll do is you'll welcome into this is a very upscale conference room. It might be the only one they have on the entire ship, so they've been taking care of it very, very well. And what you are also greeted by is he's no longer the comms. We have two other characters. Actually, several other characters. Hold on. I have to pull from my... I have to go to central casting here for a second. Okay. And you have walked into the conference room if you are all okay with that.
That's fine with me.
Okay. And I've got a lot. He's hanging for the monkey bars. So, Lieutenant K. Let's put these cards over here. Totally not adversarial. We're gonna mix around the table. All right. K. Actually, says yes. These are our senior staff. These are our senior staff. Koros is Chief of Power Systems. Mr. Anderson is an assistant engineer. How you doing? And Lieutenant Gordo is our helmsman. I was the chief navigator before I became promoted by, well, essentially the death of pretty much the entire senior staff. What is it you'd like to know? Since you're from the future, you have the tactical advantage and decide what to do and not to do.
Oh,
and also,
yeah,
she keeps looking at Bejor's eye a lot. Not distracted. Yeah,
Rude.
she's swooning a little bit, but not too much.
Well, this seems to be a ragtag group of senior staff, if ever I've seen. I guess as the ranking official here, Does someone want to explain to me how we ended up 1,500 years in the past?
Kirith, old skinhead here. We have an idea. When we exchanged fire, the natural resonance of this space opened a wound in space-time and took us back to this. Unlike the Vulcan Science Directorate, Romulans are a bit more flexible when it comes to alternative viewpoints and phenomena that leap possibly beyond known logic.
So what's stopping us from going through this wound again?
Well, aside from the fact that the wound is now closing rapidly because of the incursion, and a complete lack of temporal stabilizers and a beacon upon which to plot a return course, I believe, as you humans would say, hardly anything. Koros and Anderson, or Anson, are the two kind of engineering types, and they do kind of look at each other with a very exhausted look. They both share a very weary, frustrated kind of look, and it's not with Kirith, it's their situation, but they're pretty beaten down at this point.
How long have you all been here?
Anson says, "Well, long enough for the brats to run out."
You guys have sausages?
Kay says, "We've been here about 6 months. Most of our emergency rations and other ship supplies are running low that weren't damaged during the crash back through time. We are on a Class M planet, but yes?"
I was just about to say, what about the planet? Our scans in the future showed no life, some neutrino emissions. So does the planet currently now have life?
Simon speaks up, and he says, "Yes, that's exactly what it has. I have braces, and I was supposed to get the rails off before we went on the mission, but now I'm stuck, and the Romulans don't know how to deal with this. I'm not letting them anywhere near my teeth." But Simon, we scouted the planet before. I don't know what happened. Some of the Romulans seem to get allergic to the planet.
Allergic?
And Kirith, the bald man, looks actually uncomfortable about this, because he says, "You wanted to know why we can't. You wanted to know why we can't try again, as it were. We had wired the Kitty Hawk for temporal displacement, and it was to serve as a lifeboat to the future. We didn't have any way of accurately gauging the distance or the temporal coordinates, so we did our best with what limited resources we had. However, before we were about to embark, I am ashamed to say one of my own subordinates, what's his name? Jatark. And I'm going to paste a picture of Jatark in here if I can. Boop. Jatark staged some sort of a hijack attempt and sent the ship into the future. And Sek, you seem to remember that face because you had Ensign Alpo poke it.
Yeah, I do remember that. He blew a hole in the wall.
Yes. I'm sorry that he may have doomed our entire group.
Do we know how he may have sabotaged the ship?
I don't think he did. I think he simply didn't set the coordinates correctly and it tripped off. Trying to escape, probably. He was never a fan. He was never on fully embracing what we were attempting here. Trying to show that we can work together in common cause. And Bajor, you're an observant fellow. Allegedly. Allegedly you're an observant fellow. You might notice something about, I don't know, do you have any surveillance focus? Sneaking?
I do. I have, let's see. Hold on. Somewhere in here.
It's the paper with all the words on it.
Yeah, I had to reprint out the paper with all the words on it because we cleaned the kitchen.
So many words.
Uh,
The dog was sick. I had to breathe. How many excuses do you mortals have?
I happen to be outfitted with a prosthetic eye that can help me see things.
Well, that will come in handy when you need to take a picture of someone on the roller coaster at Disney World. But perhaps you notice that if you want to spend the momentum, this is a zero cost security task. Security and let's go with insight.
Okay. So
while that roll is going on, I definitely do want to thank, from the captain, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Hannah, Indiana, for following. Thanks. Welcome to the Lords and Ladies. Everyone spam those heart emotes.
Hi, Hannah.
And now back to the action.
Oh,
okay.
I remember you
so-
all have to do your hard time in West Lafayette. That's all I remember. From Tiny Q school, when I was at Tiny Q, lowercase you might say. I spent hard time in the Alcoa factory in Indiana.
So
anyway,
you were saying roll for security and insight?
security and insight at a difficulty level 1. And if you have a focus on, I don't know, investigation, noticing stuff, I'll be your focuses.
I do not have any focuses on that.
Okay. So you're more the punch 'em kind of security guy, eh?
I am. And my insight and security is a 13. I rolled a 14 and a 7.
Well, of course you did. You do notice that at the mention of all that we have made together by Kurith, Simon he doesn't give the impression of being totally on board with the concept of working with an enemy rather than just simply opposing them at every turn. It's fleeting, but it was there.
Mr. Gordo, can you tell us more about how you feel the Romulans were allergic to something on the planet? What do you mean by that?
They got, they basically got, I don't know, confused.
Can you elaborate on confused?
I don't know from Romulans, sir. As far as I can tell, they just got confused. The planet didn't agree with them. So that was where what's his name? Jatark got a little dizzy when we went down and I had to co-lead the expedition to look for foodstuffs and other valuables and possibly having to stay here.
Lieutenant Commander Bajor makes a mental note to talk to Mr. Gordo when we are not in a room full of people.
All right. Let's corner him. I think that Mr. Gordo often takes hot showers. alone.
Ooh.
Do with that information what you will.
Okay,
That could be all
as
over
most
the-
of us do. As most of us
As most
do.
of us do. It's all steamy, but the showers are sonic. Never get that. So
Imagine
while you're doing that, um, yeah. So this is, Kay's Captain K says this is where we're at. Our one lifeboat now seems to be like hopelessly wrecked, and if we don't have a way to navigate the time flow, the same thing will happen to us if we try and do this again, or if we can even find the power to do it.
Captain, I recommend that we put together a team to head down to the planet's surface to investigate.
I'll take that under advisement. The ship's systems. How are we able to make the same modifications to this ship that you made to the Kitty Hawk?
Our ship was smaller and less well appointed than the Earth vessel, but we should be able to rig together things. However, the temporal shielding is the problem. The hull of the Federation ship was very, very was able to act as a shield against the temporal effects, because without an anchor or a beacon, we're kind of shooting through. And if you can think of, now I have a theory about time, which is that it's a living creature, and if it's wounded or there are blood vessels that we can go from one spot to another. If a wound is opened, we can travel through essentially what you'd call the circulatory system to get to the other wound.
It's very
And-
colorful.
Yes. I like it like that. And what he's going to do is show you a picture of the anomaly. Here, I'll switch to an exterior view.
That was quite an anomaly.
Let's see if I can actually... let's see, there's this thing. There we go.
Yeah, that anomaly looks oddly like a dead Romulan.
It does. And the interesting thing is that yes, he's floating around. So, believe it or not, there were 30 things on the slide, none of which exist anymore. Give me a moment, and I'm going to try this on here. All right. Okay, that's half of it. Go. We're sent to back. Look, if I paid for Google Docs, I would be upset. So this is a view from our ship showing the Kitty Hawk, the rift or anomaly, the wound, I call it, and the planet below. The wound is starting to close, and it began closing when the ship came back through. It's as if it were snapped back with whatever it was that happened to occur at the other end, where it appeared in what century was it, you said?
The 24th century. Yeah, that's random Star Trek knowledge just off the dome. Off the dome.
So yes, you can, but I believe that we could make modifications to the ship. I will actually have, since what knowledge do you have of temporal physics, so that among your crew, perhaps they could refine my calculations?
Oh, I don't know if anyone on this away mission has any kind of temporal mechanics.
I don't know. Maybe an engineer or something would come in mighty handy. At this
Yeah,
point.
about our engineer, we should.
Okay,
You,
and
you know what?
Scene. Now we go back to the medico. And scene. Okay, doctor. I'm going to put this down here. There you go. Well, doctor, do you have any ideas? Because I can be Dr. Hijo.
No, I need to, is my mic on? I need to, call the captain. Um, Captain, this is, Lieutenant Commander Burks, calling you to, request comms.
Yes, Lieutenant Commander, go ahead.
Captain, we have performed some diagnostics on Mr. Civic. Before I proceed with the differential, I wanted to know if in your conversations with the crew, if you've learned anything to possibly help us diagnose him. Right now, I'm trying to determine if the cause of his disease is an exposure to something, like an infection, or if it's environmental. I don't have any reason to believe that an environmental cause would affect him more than us, unless there's something specific to his biology that would make him affected this way. So I was just wondering if you had learned anything.
Well, interesting that you should say that, Doctor, because apparently there is something on the planet's surface that seems to negatively affect the Romulans, and I'm sure you're aware, as the wonderful doctor that you are, the amazing similarities between the Vulcan and the Romulan physiology.
I am Captain, and that makes diagnosis much easier. The scan has revealed that there is an abnormal high concentration of prions in Mr. Civic's brain, which is causing him to be unconscious. There are a number of ways that we can treat this. The disease is called Kuru. It's a prion disease. The last symptom is usually unconsciousness. We didn't know because, along with confusion, there's usually laughter. I'm not sure if laughter is just so suppressed in Mr. Civic that it would only come out, under the most extreme of circumstances. But I believe if we give him an infusion, that the swelling in his brain will subside and he will wake up. There will be one unpleasant side effect, but I'm hoping that he will make a full recovery in time.
Just out of curiosity, Doctor, what happens to be that side effect?
He's
I
going
am
to
curious as
laugh
well. What is
quite
the side effect?
uncontrollably. He would be unconscious during the laughter outbursts if we allowed him to remain this way, but I'm concerned that there'll be permanent brain damage if we don't wake him up. So, although it would be a mercy to us and everyone else if he was to remain sleeping, he might be prone to quite hysterical outbursts at extremely inappropriate times. I think it's best if we're gentle with him and act as though it isn't happening.
Absolutely, I agree, and I will make it a standing order that no one is to bring this up in Lieutenant Commander Civic's presence. I know how much Vulcans hate being examined by doctors in the first place, so let's try to keep this as comfortable as possible for him.
I would relay to the rest of the crew that if they have any Vulcan or Romulan personnel on board, they should wear an air mask. I suspect that perhaps when these bodies were touched and distributed into the air, that it caused a rapid progression of the symptoms for it to have hit him this quickly. Typically, the disease is avoided by avoiding eating human flesh. I can only assume that they were breathed in, although I will have some questions for Mr. Civic when he wakes up about his diet choices just to make sure that he's safe in future.
Wonderful. Now, we were in the presence of numerous bodies that just turned into dust. We wouldn't be carrying any remnants of this from the Kitty Hawk at all? Are the rest of the Romulans on board safe?
Are you asking me?
Uh-huh.
I was saying we could tell them to wear a mask, but I don't know if they will. If we tell them it's for their good, maybe they'll do.
This is going to be just, we're getting into the politics of Star Trek. Congratulations.
So meta. So meta.
How dare
Dr.
you tell me this is my freedoms? I'm
Yes,
not wearing a mask.
Dr. Hirjo is no. Civic is still in his spacesuit. No one has removed, except for the captain. No one has explicitly removed their suits, as far as I can tell.
I immediately, once I realized I could breathe, I was like, yeah,
Now
baby.
I don't want to.
But Dr. Hirjo, like, looks at you like this is all news to him, and he's very concerned. It's like, he's got some serious looks in his eyes. And you kind of see him like he's not sure what he needs to do with this information if there's a biological threat.
Hate to break it to you, Doc, but we're from the future and we don't know how to handle pandemics any better than you do. Cheers.
So meta.
All right. So he goes over and he opens up there's a panel on the wall, which appears to be it's how the Romulan bird of prey has the two planets on its claws. These seem to be holding a plant and a dagger in its claws. So he opens it, and then there's a rather wicked-looking pistol that he's pulling out of the cabinet.
What?
And he says, "Are you sure there's no other way?" This is the protocol for contamination aboard this ship.
No. When we give him the infusion, it will neutralize any prions that are in his body. If you're concerned about contagion, I suggest that we seal the room and that you make a call to your chief engineer to tell them to seal the airlocks and create an airborne seal in this room.
It's too late. He's been everywhere. What you'll need to do
have
is
your crew.
You need to make a presence and medicine check.
Okay.
Difficulty level 2. And presence and medicine. As a doctor, this is
13.
This is doctor privilege here.
Okay. I
How'd we
rolled
do?
a 7 against a 13.
What was the second die?
An 8.
An 8. All right. You are quite persuasive. And he says, "All right, I accept your protocols for now." And then he just puts the gun, clicks it back into the cabinet, that closes, and then has a little bioscanner to relock the cabinet.
Yeah, bitch.
I have a lot of electronics here. Please don't make me spit tea at everything.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't want to replace that.
Yeah,
This is a good episode for me. This is what I do all day.
So, actually, Bejor, one of the things you also notice is this was all done in the open air of the conference room, was my understanding. You were just shouting at the air.
Wait, what?
You didn't go, Captain. You didn't seem to want to keep this information quiet from anyone, so I assume you just stood there and spoke to the good doctor in the open, because
Absolutely.
we are all there to share.
Well,
Again, your favorite, Bejor, your favorite person seems to have once again reacted to the interesting news that a Vulcan was struck by a disease.
By my favorite person, you mean
Mr. Gordo.
Right, Mr. Gordo.
Right. Simon reacted, definitely did react to this event occurring.
Mr. Gordo, do you have anything to say now that we've gone over this twice?
No, I think that we're going to be able to have to thread the needle through this wounded time if we want to get home.
Can I'd like to intimidate him into giving up some more information.
Okay. In the middle of a conference room in front of uncertain allies, how would you like to go about this delicate task, Jax?
Shower.
I'd like to
Shower.
threaten to do his much-needed orthodontal work.
All right. So describe this in the most TNG way. Jean-Luc would never have done this.
I, thankfully, am not Jean-Luc. I would like to pressure.
All right. Yes. Is there anything? Let me see. This would be essentially a presence and security role. What sort of thing would you like to say to apply this said pressure? And actually, would there be a way? Do you need to do this now?
I mean, pistol was just pulled on our chief medical officer, so maybe.
Well, I mean, technically, a pistol, which you did not know anything about,
How?
was technically pulled on your engineer, who you really had no use for anyway.
I do have use for my engineer.
I've read the chats. I see you have no use for your chief, your person. We read all the blogs here in the Continuum. You might be able to pick a time and a place more suited to up close and personal discussion, shall we say?
Yes.
Would that be acceptable to you?
I feel that would be acceptable.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is, at this point, I want to switch quickly back to the doctor and her attempts to wave a light over it and see how this would go. Doctor, well, this is going to be what we call an extended medical task.
Okay.
Where you're going to essentially need to you've done a basic diagnosis and you have worked out a rough course of treatment based on that. And you do have the material between you and Lieutenant Gemma. You do have enough material, compounds on hand to synthesize a prion neutralizing, a prion masking agent. It's not a cure; it's a treatment, as you pointed out. So what you will need, however, is medical and reason, because now you're thinking through your problem. And you will need 5 successes.
Okay. Is everybody okay with me using some momentum?
Whatever gets us our chief engineer, please.
Okay.
I've got so many tasks for him.
Me too.
So many holodeck missions to fulfill in the future.
Oh, you may get Robin Williams back. We don't know. Or Danny DeVito. So,
Okay.
how many dice do you wish to buy? I will say you are actually over the legal limit of momentum in the game. So
we have to spend some anyway.
spend away.
Okay. How
It's
many
like
dice do I get?
You get 2 dice normally,
Okay.
and then you could buy up to 3 more dice.
I thought you said we needed 5 successes, though.
You need 5 successes.
Okay. I guess I'll just buy 3 dice.
Okay, 3 dice will cost you 6 momentum because it's kind of incrementally more expensive.
Mhm.
So that is everyone okay with her going burning you down to 3? Okay,
Burn away.
so five dice on what's your target?
You said reason and medicine. That's 14.
All right. Well, this should be easy peasy. I mean, after all, you're not Good Devil attempting to do a roll here.
8. 20.
Wonderful. Yes.
13.
Okay.
10. And 6.
6. Well, that's not altogether atrocious. You only generated 1 complication, and you only generated 4 successes. Lieutenant Gemma might have an attempt. Would Nat, would you care to roll a 20-sided die for Lieutenant Gemma's assist? She needs a 12 or lower.
Come on, Gemma. Come on,
17.
Gemma. Come on, Gemma. Oh, Gemma.
So I'm afraid that your cure is not entirely successful at this point. Your treatment, you have injected Ensign Seevig, or Engineer Seevig, with your concoction as best as you can meagerly engineer it. It's very Beverly Crusher of you.
Slap a band-aid on it.
Mr. Seevig, you begin smelling the color blue.
No, that part was on purpose.
You get the feeling of rose petals between your toes, as well as the fact that the sound of a barking dog smells like a Taco Bell at 2 a.m.
Can I get this treatment? I'm just curious because this sounds great.
So you do, Mr. Seevig, you do regain consciousness. You fight your way through this. You, I believe, do have the Culinar discipline. And you should be somewhat more yourself. However, there may be time to time when you have difficulty with understanding vocabulary for something. The doctor had an analogy. You have synesthesis, and you have difficulty associating a word with its function. If you look at a phaser, it will be the thing that burns a hole through the thing. It is not all the time, but it occurs enough that it will make things, I shall say, interesting for your fellows when your life is their lives are literally in your hands. A few pops there.
Doctor, where are we?
We're in sick bay. We're aboard the Norway. No.
Oh, good.
Captain. I don't know either.
You're on board the Norway?
Don't worry about that right now. Just rest.
Why do
But
I
we're
get
in-
the feeling that I've perhaps rested too much?
You haven't been out for very long. We think that maybe you had a reaction to some of the decomposed bodies that were airborne. So we brought you here. There are other people on this vessel that have had similar reactions. Romulans, in fact. We just gave you an infusion to kind of get the swelling down in your brain. You might have some trouble finding some words, but don't worry, it'll pass. It's temporary. And if you feel overcome with something, it's called emotion. Roll with it. It might make you laugh like we do, even if you're not feeling like something is particularly funny. And it's okay, and it will pass.
I question your diagnosis, but I shall keep it in the back of my head nonetheless. You seem to forget. I have done much throughout my life to purge myself of all emotions. But if you say to look out for them, Doctor, I suppose I shall have to do my best.
I just don't want you to be concerned. It's not emotion you're expressing. You can't repress it. It's just frontal lobe activity that is erratic, due to the prions.
Yes, I don't know if he would be capable of sustaining direct exposure to a Three Stooges marathon at this point. I must agree with you, Doctor. The Romulan, Hijo, the only named Romulan, does come over cautiously. He has something that you presume is a scanner. It's up to you what you want to do, but he's pointing it at Sivik. And take some of his own readings of this. Also, he kind of looks at Sivik in kind of a way that you'd look at dirt on the bottom of your shoe.
I have a hand-to-hand combat as a focus. I want to punch this punk.
So I just want to check.
If I can meta, does Sivek currently know what the Romulan has in hand?
Welcome to synesthesia. It's a looking inside, and it's a looking inside thing.
Wand of scrying.
No wand of scry.
I think it would be even better. It's +2 if that matters, because it's fine Romulan make. And it has spider designs on it. Because I'm going with a Loth motif if you guys are going to lean into this.
Oh. I'll turn to Hijo and be like, what do with the look inside body bit? Doctor?
He's like just like checking it and just looking down at the device and looking up at you again, looking down, and says he actually turns to Arya and says, I wish to take a sample for my own analysis.
Yeah, we're gonna go with no. Let's roll presence against medicine, presence with medicine against him. I don't think that's a good idea. You've already expressed concern about contamination. Now you want to poke holes in him, really?
That reduced the difficulty of this task to a 1. So please roll your 2 dice.
Reason and medicine's 14.
Or it's not reason to medicine. It's presence to medicine.
Presence and medicine. I'm sorry.
Charisma.
So it's same thing. 14. I got a 10.
Just persuasive as she is smart. Good. All right. Hijo backs off, but he does continue scanning, and it looks like from your knowledge of how medical equipment works, he's taking a very detailed scan. He wants to be very thorough, seeing as this could possibly contaminate Romulans and cause them to faint dead away. Now, you have created the prion masking compound. Do you wish to tell anybody about your success, as marginal as it was? Do you wish to crow about it? Wave your third place medal of participation. Wave your participation trophy around in the form of a fellow crewman.
Yeah, I'll call Captain. Get the captain on comms. Captain, this is Lieutenant Commander Burks. I have good news. Mr. Sivik is awake. He's experiencing some synesthesia. He's a little aphasic, and we're still concerned about outbursts of excruciatingly inappropriate laughter at random times, but I am happy to report that the compound worked. It seems to have repressed the prions enough to reduce the swelling in his brain, allow him to wake up. He's speaking, and either we'll join you, or maybe you can send security here, because I don't know, this doctor in here, he's really asking for it.
Yes, Doctor. Is Ensign Sivek?
Engineer Sevic, I believe.
Did I
Did
say
he
Ensign?
do something to so
I looked.
displease you, Captain, that he
You
gets
can
Harry?
say either. He can't tell the
Demoted.
difference right now. It's really okay.
Yeah, I said Ensign. He hears Lieutenant Commander. Is the Lieutenant Commander able to resume his duties?
Questionable, sir. It depends on whether you need him to speak.
I cannot stress the fact that a chief engineer would make this a lot easier of an issue to diagnose and whatnot. Yeah, we need him. He needs to be here.
He may struggle to word find, so if you're able to interpret some of the things he's saying, think of it like sign language. Based on what I can tell so far, I believe his judgment is sound, even if his ability to communicate it is not. So I will be happy to bring him down and perhaps aid further if interpreting him becomes an issue.
I tap my communicator. I do think good, Captain.
I feel better about this.
That's
I watched this
wonderful.
episode last night with the Good Samaritans or whatever it was. We
That's
look for things.
He is smart.
Things to make us go.
He's going.
We are smart. All right,
all right.
Civic, you make it work.
I will put things together. I will make them go.
That's
So,
that's exactly what we need, Lieutenant Commander. Now get your
He
Vulcan butt
sounds
up
normal to
here.
me, Captain.
Coming in the right away, Captain.
I just want him to just burst out like.
Excuse me. Coming straight away, guy that runs ship.
We'll work on that. Absolutely.
So, for the medical personnel, Area, did you want to accompany him back with the group? Did you
Yes.
want to leave Gemma here to kind of keep an eye on things?
I am not leaving anybody with this doctor, and I am walking him
Okay.
there myself before the doctor sticks something up his tuchus.
Be surprised by the answer to that. So, Specialist Hijo stays and says, Doctor, I think we should have, please be in constant contact about his condition, and I'm going to continue an analysis here to see exactly what has happened.
Yeah, sounds great. I want to talk to you a lot. Okay, let's go.
Okay. So, what I was going to ask is next, the Romulan Guard R4 will act as an escort to get you through the ship because you actually don't know your way around. You could probably get your way back to the conference room, but you were kind of focused on Civic and not on wayfinding. So that's good. In the main conference room, I'm going to cut back to that. What sort of a plan of action are we discussing? Kurith has. Let me lay out the chart.
And I don't mean to be a stickler, but we're not at 9 momentum anymore. We're at what, 3, I think? Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's good. I, however,
I-
page. Still trying to find my. Good Lord! Suddenly, the whole room is filled with dark. Why am I not? I was just looking for a Starfleet data pad. Okay. This is every time.
Get some more cars going on.
Yep. This is for us, which is we're going to call this plan of action. And why don't you me what it is you want to do. Here is the scientist who seems to the situation. Is saying that the the time wound is closing. That's one fact you know. That this is the Thunderwing.
Could not remember the name of the ship to save my life.
I obviously couldn't either. And I don't have prions. At least I hope I don't. I don't have a hole in the suit.
In the suits, everybody's still got their hat on. Everyone's got the fake hat on.
Everybody wash your hands.
6 feet apart. Not that. So, here we go. Those are the two facts we are aware of. Are there any additional facts that you guys might? Yes.
Gordo is hiding something.
Not been Bajor. Are you sure you're not half Bajor?
Sure.
Okay. Yes.
Gordo's hiding that he's just a racist.
Where's Pulaski when you need her? At least she's an obvious bigot.
It took us about an hour to get into the Pulaski hate this episode, so that's good.
Don't we
That's good.
also
We're making strides.
Don't we
Oh,
also
no.
know that something happens between the time now and then that makes the planet uninhabitable?
Oh, good point.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Jatark, for some reason, went a little cuckoo after being on the planet's surface
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and tried to sabotage everything.
I get the name. Let me grab his. I ain't spelling it again.
And last but not least, potentially deadly airborne contagion.
Effective only against Romulans and apparently Vulcans.
We don't know that yet. Something could still happen to the doctor.
The Romulan one?
The one that's trying to poke my engineer.
Could
His race is insubstantial.
that sure that is the big level pole vaulting? There's a potential toxin.
Yeah.
How's that? All right. So that is those are the things you know. Which your puny little minds can comprehend.
Now, I would like to say to the group in the conference room, like, I know you said that it would be tough to modify this ship the same way that you modified the Kitty Hawk. Could we scrap this ship and use it to repair the Kitty Hawk? Would that be easier? Since the modifications have already been made over there?
Let me see. This is Mike Anson. I just got done doing some scans on the ship so that it's much easier to say this. But that ship's over 3,000 years old now. I don't know if it would make another through the rift. However, and it's just been bouncing against the sides of whatever Kirith called the temporal blood vessels or something. I read something about some kind of mushroom travel, but I'll go with anything at this point.
I think that was classified.
Also in the future, technically, but don't worry about that. It's been a long road.
Kitten from there to here?
Or here to there. All I need is a beer and a brat, and I'll be good. Wait to get back to the Bears. The Bears are going to do okay.
At the Bulls.
The Bulls, Bears. Go Guppies. But the chance I think we're going to have on this if we take the Kitty Hawk. I love that ship dearly, but I don't think she can take it.
Well, whatever we do before we leave, we're going to have to destroy it.
Kay's kind of like, she actually looked and just says, well, I guess, that's not the best thing to put on your resume for your first command now, is it? But getting the crew home is definitely going to hopefully make up for that. So yeah, she's okay with that. The ship has like no power, which is going to be a big concern. And I think at this point, now what's sort of the plan of action for what do we want to try and do?
Well, I think we should assess what tools and materials we have on hand to make these modifications to the Thunderwing, and figure out if there's anything that we do not have that we need that we can get from the planet's surface. We should absolutely send a crew to the planet's surface if need be, in EV suits. Let's not risk any more contamination. If anyone else has any other suggestions, I'm greatly interested in hearing those.
Not to be Captain Buzzkill, but are we gonna talk about the Prime Directive at all, or are we gonna kind of? Was he doing that episode? Or is he
Well, I don't think any of that will matter if we can't actually get back to our proper timeline.
That's true.
But if we're talking about like time paradoxes and stuff like that, yeah.
Well, it depends on how you perceive temporal disturbances. Either this is a completely new timeline that we've never experienced, or this has always happened. I tend to believe that.
Oh, well, that makes it real easy.
15,000 years. Yeah. Which is kind of which really makes me feel bad about this planet, because I have a feeling we're going to have to destroy it in order to get back home.
Maybe we are something that happens to the planet.
Arm those photon
Is there
torpedoes,
not life
baby.
on this planet?
Well, we know where there won't be.
Yeah.
My finger's on the button, Captain.
If there is, maybe we can relocate first.
Civic, we value your logical approach to every dilemma. Do you have any thoughts on time paradoxes?
Oh,
And don't give me the Vulcan Science Director bull crap. I don't want to hear it.
They got over
where
that.
I was in the conference room.
I was not either. I feel that the doctor is doing what we called in the 21st century, a walk and talk. If she had a walkie-talkie yelling into it while she was punting down the corridor, this would be the moment.
I thought I was walking with him.
You were. Now he's running a little faster to keep up with you.
Oh.
You have him by the arm. You're just dragging him along.
It's like, yeah, take it easy. Now, come on, take it easy. Rest. Let's go.
I need you to get to conference room 12. That.
Civic, which way is right?
The opposite of that way.
Okay.
Nice.
It's doing well.
Nice.
At least he didn't respond cockatrice feather and just leave it at that.
Or laugh in my face. That would have broke my heart.
So I'm going to bring our conference room back down here. So we have some possible plans. You want to do assess your resources, and Kurith is mentioned that the wound is closing on numerous occasions.
Is there anything we can do to kind of like maybe like put a stint in it or something to kind of keep it open?
Right? Something like stabilizing the wound. And and also you need to, was one of the other suggestions to prep the ship for time travel?
Mm-hmm.
Should be both ships. Aren't both ships supposed to go back?
Well, the engineer, actually, if you say that, you were going to assume you said it out loud, and Michael just go, I don't think the Kitty Hawk can do it. And I'm a Cubs fan, and I've got no hope that this is going to work. That ship will fall apart under us. It's already, I don't know, the quantum dating on the hull looks like 3,000 years old. I don't think she'll make it again.
I recommend we scuttle
Now,
that ship then.
absolutely, we definitely can't leave that here to contaminate the timeline. That ship must be destroyed. I hate to think that our first rescue mission is going to result in the destruction of the ship we were supposed to bring back, but things being what they are, I would very much like to be in my ready room right now. So let's figure this out.
Okay. I'm waiting for time travel. So, yeah, all right. At this point, do you want to assign people to do this? To do these? Who wants to take on what task? And I feel that the first officer and the security officer are floating, as it were, with an ill-defined set of tasks.
I feel like we should be at least two of the landing party.
Okay. Yes, good.
I was gonna say, well, I'm just out of character. It probably makes most sense for CVEC to stabilize the wound, and
Yes.
and perhaps also prep the Thunderwing.
Yeah.
Security Officer Bajor thinks to himself, I'm hoping that Mr. Gordo is in the mood to take a steamy hot shower sometime soon, because I'd really like to get him alone and ask him some questions.
Right. Questions.
I hope he doesn't drop the soap. Jeez.
So yeah, that's
What's your persuasion?
intimidation skill. Let me hear. What is that sound of that zipper? Sorry.
Oh, it's so dark.
It's so dark.
Joke's on you, I'm not wearing pants.
We do not use zippers in the future. Nor money. They both disappear together. It's all Velcro. So what we have is captain or team, how do you want to divvy up the people?
Well, after hearing what everyone kind of felt most comfortable with, I absolutely, I definitely want, if we need to go to the planet, I definitely want Commander and Lieutenant Commander Berkazen to be a part of that away team. CVEC, you and I should try to see if there is a way that we can stabilize the wound.
Okay. Oh, you're not prepping for time travel?
Well, I'm pretty savvy with science. I will go ahead and see if there is a way that we can't stabilize this wound while CVEC starts prepping for what we're going to need to
The
do.
words you were looking for, Captain, or if the wound is closed, prepping the Thunderwing for time travel will be irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very well spoken. See that? That was good. That was better than earlier. We're making strides. We're making strides. And then I want to kind of look at Lieutenant Dane and Kurith and say, since you two have been here on this ship for 6 months plus, you seem to know the ship better, so maybe you all assess the resources that we have so we can kind of know exactly what we need. And if it makes you feel better for me to make it in order, Kurith, I'll make it in order.
Okay. Dane.
Always wanted to boss around a Romulan.
All right. We've got some moral dilemmas, which we can throw in at any time. I forgot, Bell is working on what now?
Who?
Paul and Bajor are going where? Your XO and your security officer?
If we end up needing to go to the planet's surface, they are going to be the away team. Maybe they can take a couple members of the human, the Starfleet crew, down with them. Maybe Anson and what's his name?
Who?
Gordo. Gordo and Anson can go down with them. And if I'm being a little meta, maybe that'll give Lieutenant Commander a chance to strong arm Gordo. I see the way you're looking at him. I see the way that eye's looking. I'm gonna observe the captain.
Yeah, just
Your name?
quick question about kind of the environment and what's going on with everybody else. Besides the suspecting that Gordo is hiding something, do we feel that everybody else in our crew is safe around all these other people, Romulans, whatever?
Well, you're in terms of what does safe mean to you?
I mean, we were talking about.
You are a security person, so this would be a perfect example, perfect thing to worry about. Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry. Track whatever the Romulan's name is. That.
Correct.
Thank you.
Baldy.
Jatark.
Yes?
Yeah.
Jatark. Yeah.
Yeah. He went a little nuts. We suspect that maybe exposure to something and he was against the idea of the Romulans and the Federation working together. Is there anybody else that would kind of get the idea that they don't like this situation?
Well, I don't know. Although threatening them physically with violence would probably be something that would probably put them against you at some point. Yes. That hasn't happened yet in your crew, attempting to physically assault one of them.
Not yet.
Okay. So, you don't get that impression. You seem to, of the people you've encountered, Simon seems to be the one that's having the biggest trouble with this whole situation.
Okay.
Captain, if you're in agreement, I would like to come to the planet surface to collect some samples to learn more, but I think that it would be better if I stayed behind. Perhaps if you are able to, you could bring a sample very contained, and I will stay behind to work further with the doctor and see if we can determine, anything else we can find out about the way that this is spreading. Him and I did get off to a great start, and I'm thinking maybe, if we're able to find a cure or a solution to this together, perhaps it will go some way towards more amicable dealings in the future.
Well, maybe we should send Gemma, Lieutenant Gemma down then. She would know better than most people how to take some samples.
Oh, to the down to the planet, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, transporters are not a luxury that the Romulans have. It will be by shuttle pod.
How many people can fit in one of these shuttle pods? That's the question.
Well, as many as needs to. Let's just go with that.
Okay.
At least 6.
It's like a Civic,
Yes.
not our Civic.
I believe
like a
he's
Honda
calling.
Civic.
I believe I believe it's called CJ. So, oh, there goes my bank account. All right, so, yeah, if you're all ready to separate, you do see, you do note that that Roland is, or not Roland. I apologize. Where is Gordon? Yeah, Simon doesn't have an assignment actually.
Are we suggesting that he go down to the planet with us?
There's one other minor thing. Plotting a course home, which seemed to be one of the hugest problems with the last attempt, was they didn't have a good course and were exposed to all manner of temporal displacement damage. And I don't know who might be helmy or navigating.
All right, can we see if we can plot a course that's going to be a safe way down?
I believe that you may have to work a little bit with what's his name? Our Chief Romulan, Kurith.
Another alien.
On that.
Okay.
It's another alien. That Kurith is as close as you're going to find in your tiny limited experience of time travel to a laughable expert on this situation, since he's sat around and studied it for a few months. Mind you, his solution was not adequate. So, yeah, if you guys want to break apart to your various locations, we are at 10 o'clock, which I think is about a half hour resolution.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, from the session. So what I want to do is essentially break some people apart based on where their tasks lie. You ready to split the party?
Yes.
We've all seen Mr. Skorakowski's essay upon this situation. So, first things first. Do you want a meeting adjourned there, Captain?
Yes, this all sounds wonderful. Everybody, you know what you need to do. Let's make this happen. It's movie night on the Norway, and I would really like to get back before they decide to play any wonderful films that I may or may not have curated
like
for this
Waterworld.
mission. I'll be Waterworld. I hope it's Waterworld now. That's what it is. That's what they're showing. They're showing the Earth classic Waterworld in the mess hall. The quartermaster knows that's my favorite movie.
So this is going to be entertaining. Let's see, I'm setting up.
Oh man, Romulans have a Stargate. Holy crap!
They do have a Stargate. Everything is teal except when it's not. Don't ask. This was amazingly that you guys did it. So, what's going to happen is, Captain, where are you exiting and moving to? Where are you going to go?
I would imagine in order to do any kind of like stabilization of the time wound here would probably best be done from the bridge of the Thunderwing. So I'm probably telling Sivek we should head to the bridge to get started.
You're going to the bridge. Sivek, do you want to go on ahead? Because
Captain, if I may, perhaps it would be more positive if we were to go to what this station has that does the when you look at the mirror, it does this to you and the thing you all eat off of.
You want to go to the dishwasher?
Apologies, Captain. My words escape me.
It's fine, Seaback. Take your time. Take your time. We've got nothing but.
Okay. Dish. Second word. Does this station have a dish?
Deflector dish?
Indeed, Captain.
Maybe you should go. Maybe you should go to engineering.
Very well.
Or whatever.
Actually, what did you say that in the presence of anyone? Because this is kind of their ship; they know it.
Sure, we're probably still like as everybody's getting up, shuffling their meeting
Yes.
notes or whatever.
Yes. So what I wanted to do was, you are having the engineer go there by himself, or with accompaniment, or are you going with him?
You know what? I think it's best if I stay with Sivek. Sivek, why don't we go together? I don't feel comfortable with you roaming these halls by yourself.
Kay is also going to say, I'm going to accompany you if I may. And she's just going to follow along. And what's going to happen is you notice that she's slowing down a little. Do you want to go forward with Sivek, or do you want to stick back with her?
I'm gonna stop and let Sivek kind of continue on a little bit and say, Lieutenant.
Okay. This is a small scene. Her eyes turn steely cold. And she says, that's Captain T. I don't know what has become of Starfleet in 200 years, but we believed in decency and respect for our fellow officers. The United Earth Probe Agency gives me the authority over my people's lives. I've made a damn good bunch of choices.
I'm going to look at her and say, there is an entire ship filled with people that I don't think would be very happy with the decisions that have been made so far. I am looking at your uniform and I only see 2 pips. You see these?
I'm the captain of this ship.
Yes, and
Passed to me, as to these people's lives.
that's wonderful.
We can end this here, and we can end this now, and we can work together to get out of it. I forged a peace with Romulans.
And let me tell you how well that worked out.
And?
Look, if formalities are really what's holding you up, acting Captain Dane, then maybe we can work this out at a later time. Right now, I think it's probably more important that we get out of this mess that you and this Romulan ship have so graciously put us all in. Now, if you'll excuse me, well, I need to go to engineering with my chief engineer and see if we can't try to fix this debacle.
Okay, she's going to let you go, and we'll make a note of that.
Acting Captain Dane will remember that.
Well, remember, this was an era when they were a lot quicker on the phasers. Just saying. All right, so you basically slammed Dane. Your only ally on the ship.
I only see one captain on this entire ship, and that's me.
Okay, so Dane will continue to follow you and will work with you in deflector control. You guys currently are still working on a -1 because of ancient tech. Just to let you know, that's not negative. It's just going to take time. Okay, so that puts you guys into there. Next, sorry, Civic, that took some of your time out. Next thing, Gordo is just going to slip out essentially and duck down a few corridors. I don't know what anyone else wants to do with that information.
I would like to follow him stealthily.
Okay, do you have stealthily?
No.
Were we on our way to
But
do
I will
the?
still do it.
Were we on our way to do the away
Huh?
mission? And he just kind of ducked out, or?
Yeah.
He did say, he did murmur, well, I have a few things to prepare before we go.
Needs a shower.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I would like to duck out as well and see where he is going.
Okay. He does. He's pretty nimble for as all young officers are. So it will take you a couple of seconds to catch up. Now, you do not want to be seen. Is what I'm hearing.
I'm sorry, is that a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know how aggressive, how much did you want to push this, the following him?
Actually, I'd like to call after him.
Oh.
I don't think I want to be subtle.
All right, you don't have to be subtle. And,
Mr. Gordo, wait.
All right.
There's questions I'd like to ask you.
Let me see. Yep. You do have a phaser, even though it doesn't show here. All right. Yes.
I wanted to know, it seems like there are some things that you're holding back, and I wanted to know if you have any problems with what's going on around here.
I have a problem with the Romulans.
Such as?
Well, we're at war, aren't we?
Yeah, but I understand.
And we
that
won.
this was-
And
But
I
I
understand it as I see it, we won, right?
That's neither here nor there. Right now, you're on a joint mission with the Romulans, and I want to know what problem you seem to have with them. Is there something that happened?
They were attacking us. We fell into this hole because we were at war. They attacked us. They ripped the hole in space. I want the whole damn lot of them to stay here.
They ripped the hole in space?
They say we did it. I don't believe Kirith for a pile of beans. And I gotta say, your captain definitely knows how to put Kay in her place.
I would like to know what evidence you
She's
have.
really, I think she screwed up not killing all of them when we had a chance.
What do you mean when you had the chance?
Well, we both decided before Kay decided not to fire on them when they were helpless.
Please elaborate.
Well, we were fighting. We exchanged fire. We fell through the rift. Most of our crew was dead. I still had a maneuverable ship.
So
I could
why
have
did you
taken the
take
whole
the
group and
Romulans?
blown them to hell.
So why did you take the Romulans on then, if they're the ones who caused this problem?
They were laying in wait for ambush. They were laying in wait in an ambush.
But why are they now on the ship?
This is their ship.
Sorry. Why are we now on? Where was your crew now on their ship?
Our crew and their crew were repairing the Kitty Hawk, and then they tried to steal it and take it to the future, betraying us and leaving us on this hulk.
Then why are you working together?
We shouldn't be.
Yeah, I'd like to get a little bit more aggressive because I'm getting nowhere.
Please. Hey, man, I'm just answering your questions. Okay, what do you want to do? Apparently, the 24th century, the model diplomacy. What would you like to do to somebody who's your great 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 grandfather?
I'd like to grab him by his shirt and throw him up against the wall.
Okay. Let me see. An attack roll is it costs one success. So he's not going to oppose you, but it requires a security and whatever it is,
Fitness?
daring.
Oh, okay.
Security and daring is your hand-to-hand skill. You need
and I
one
have a
success.
hand-to-hand focus.
Yep. So that increases your critical range. So you throw those and then use that as part of your intimidation. So this will enhance anything you do here. Will lower your intimidation check. But
Okay. So,
so go ahead.
Security and daring. Hold on. I got a 2 and a 3.
Oh well,
Yeah.
that looks like 3 additional success points. If you want to, that means you can put the beat down. You can actually inflict more damage if you wanted to.
I don't
You
want to
indicated
inflict
you were barely holding him.
Yeah,
correct?
I don't want to inflict damage. I just want him to know who's the boss.
Well,
He's crying now.
Yep. So you put him against the wall, and he says, "So what is it you want to know?
Mr. Gordo, if
You want to know?"
I'm sorry, I can't understand you with your braces.
Yep.
I want to know what happened to. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the guy's name. It went nuts.
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
Jim. I would like to know what
Mr.
happened.
Jag.
I would like to know what happened to whatever, and why he tried to sabotage the mission. And I would like to know if you had anything to do with it.
So he says, "I didn't have anything to do with him going nuts."
Did you sabotage the mission?
No, sir. I want to get home. I just want to leave them here. I don't know what got into Jareth's head. He was acting funny since we got back from the planet. I don't think Kurith can keep his eye on. I think Kurith is just a better liar than the rest of them, because Jareth wanted us all dead. I can tell. It's in their beady little eyes. And also, I wouldn't trust your Vulcan any further than I could throw him either.
I'd like to hit him across the face for that.
Okay, so assaulting a fellow officer?
Did I stutter?
Starfleet Code of Uniform Justice. Do you actually want to roll him
here.
all the because in this thing it will be non-lethal attack.
Yes.
And basically you have a hand-to-hand score with your dice.
Yes.
All right. Do you want to pull your punch or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like really injure him.
It will be non-lethal. The thing is, if he takes more than 5 points of damage, he passes out.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
I don't want to do that. I don't want him to pass out.
That takes all the fun out of it. All right. So, wow, 21st century is so skilled at things. So did you see your dice on that attack? You have a hand-to-hand thing on the bottom of your sheet, and it should say 60 or 70.
6.
60. All right, that's 3 6-sided dice, and then we do our our pluses and minuses, and we'll see what happens when you punch a man that you're holding up and have attacked by surprise.
I rolled a 3, a 1, and a 3.
You got 3 more dice to roll.
Oh, 6-sided?
Oh, yeah, these are all 6-sided. Did you blow all those good 20s?
I also rolled a 1, a 3, and a 2.
1, 3, 2. All right. So the 3s don't count. So you rolled 1 point, 1 point, and 2 points for a total of 4 points. You have scuffed him, sir.
That's exactly what I wanted to do.
and I forget what is it. What is it you wish to accomplish with this perfect display of the flower of humanity?
It sounds like you have a problem with people that are Starfleet officers and members of my crew. Do
It
not
sounds
speak about
like
them.
I have a problem with people who aren't human. And you don't look exactly human either. But you didn't try and keep us from developing warp drive, now did you?
I would hit you again if I thought it would knock you out.
Actually, it's 5 points from one wound at a time, but you can like run him out of points.
No, I don't want to hit him anymore. I don't want to take a chance.
Kirk did all this. Now, Kirk, he was stylish. He just swung people around in a rolling chair.
We are going down to that planet to get some more information, and I want you to be forthcoming with me on anything that you can remember, or I'll have to jog your memory.
Yeah, he kind of looks. Are you letting him down so he can wipe the blood from his lip?
Yes.
In like.
Oh no! I will take my shirt sleeve.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna wipe the blood off his face.
Give him a little tap tap.
Oh, I forgot. Did you do it where it would leave a bruise or not? This is the thought.
I actually had a hidden stack of bars of soap.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, I got some things to do before we go down.
Such as
I got to use the fresher. And you wouldn't believe the plumbing on this Romulan heath.
All right, as you were.
All I can say is they really care about aiming in this thing. No wonder there are good shots. So he's gonna go down a bit, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut away. Who have we got left? Let me see. Everyone's attacked 2 of the crewmen, so that's Dane will not be here assessing resources because she needed to stand up for herself and her crew
and get verbally attacked.
Verbally assaulted. Let me see. Supplies of Potiphar's home. Wait, was that was stabilizing the movie. Got it. I apologize. Thanks. Ball. Not sure quite what we're doing with who hasn't gone yet. Yeah, it's Ball and the Doctor, essentially. You guys are standing in the conference room with we're not sure quite plotting a course. Would be a bridge thing. Would that be a good bridge thing?
Right. Well, you said I also would need to talk to Kareth about plotting that course, right?
Yes, Kareth will come along with you to the bridge.
So,
seeing as it's technically his ship.
Sure. And I'll take that opportunity to have a conversation with him in curious fashion.
Okay.
Off the record, how's your experience been working with races not of your own?
We don't trust others very freely. We are, after all, a superior species. In the brief time I've worked with the humans, however, I found them to be passionate and intuitive. If only they were stronger and had better species characteristics, I think I could call them allies.
So what was the turning point?
They're a cunning foe.
What was the turning point that made you to open up to the idea of doing this?
It was the cold practicality that Kay had. Both of our ships were hopelessly crippled. Neither one could hope to, once we regained power and found out where and what was where we were, we could either both die here or both escape.
So
that was the need, was the basis of our friendship, of our relationship.
Interesting.
Now, I'm not Jareth, J- uh, yeah, Jatath. We're going with Jatath. The underling that I can't remember my name, but he was a great disappointment to me. He never accepted this, but I'd hoped that he would have enough discipline to obey, because our duty is to survive for the Star Empire. Actually, I need to ask, what did happen? Since it's clear that we are not to return. There are some in my crew that would feel that if they could not return, no one else should either. I don't know if Jatath was alone.
I will answer your question with a question. Under the two possibilities of the potential for the Federation and the Romulans working together, would that be overall well accepted among your people, or not?
Our people are distrustful, and they prize secrecy and deceit above all else. And that is largely to protect ourselves. I do feel that we might be able to act as a symbol of what could happen if we both cooperated, instead of having another blind, pointless, and very bloody war. Our people live longer than humans, and I think that means we have much more to lose than a human does. They breed like rabbits, or the Romulan equivalent of rabbits, the Badachboch. They have rounded ears, you see.
Well, with your value of secrecy, I'm sure you can understand that the implications of giving any information, especially for somebody who might live so long, could have terrible effects on the timeline.
Speaking of the timeline, where is it we would be navigating to?
Well, I guess that really depends on the ease of navigation. My thought would be that we would probably try to get everybody back to their own as best as we can. But I don't.
Your captain seemed to have a different opinion. I'm glad to know that you are more interested in exploring other possibilities.
Yeah, I'm sure the captain is, he's formulating the plan that he thinks is going to be what's best for everybody.
All right, so Kurith brings up a display panel. We're going to pretend that you read Romulan math, because that's just the way it's going to have to work. And you see his sets of calculations of time wound, and also, do you want to look over his calculations and also check?
I'm not trusting that old junk.
All right. So one thing I want you to do is to look through its con and reason.
Okay.
And do you have any focuses that might apply to communications or transporters?
I do not.
Okay.
No, just tell them operations.
Okay. It's not quite like steering the ship in the dry dock. So this is a little more high-brain math stuff, if that makes sense. Now, let me get your threat. So you've got. Go ahead and you need 2 successes to do this, and you can buy more dice before you begin.
How many successes did you say?
You'll need 2.
2. Okay. Then.
And your what is your target number?
For reason and con, it's going to be an 11.
Okay, I'd be buying dice.
I think I'm going to
now,
have to
are
buy.
you reckless? Do you have reckless con?
I've got bold con,
You got bold.
which allows me to
That
re-roll.
is not just the flavor of Doritos, sir. That is how you roll.
That lets
it
me.
allows you to buy a die and re-roll the fate.
Yeah, I buy it with threat, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Look at that happy little number.
It's pretty high.
Look at that. If you buy a single die.
Yep, I'll buy a single
that'll
die,
allow you
and then I'll do 2 out of the pool.
Oh, all right.
Don't want to screw
You'll
this
be
up.
rolling 4 dice altogether.
Yep.
Do they re-roll on the single die?
All right. Well, I don't think I need to. I got a 2, a 5, a 7, and a 9. So 4 successes.
All right. That puts you back up under 5. And one of the things, this is for information, and you see that the temporal rift is indeed shrinking. Kurith has essentially, his navigation is like watching a blind man or a one-antennaed Andorian attempt to walk through a forest in the dark with their eyes closed. And they've just had a really bad tattoo. So they're distracted, they're disoriented, and they're fumbling about. Essentially, Kurith is running what in navigation would be essentially a search pattern of moving the ship, bumping into a barrier or a higher gradient of, what should we call it? A higher gradient of chronoton radiation, and bouncing off of it until it hits the next one and the next one, and essentially bumping his way through a maze without knowing what the maze looks like, and hoping he makes it to the end. Because this is supposed to be a path between 2 moons in his hypothesis. So that is what he has crudely come up with as a way to travel. And these slams cause the years to catch up with you, as it were. Do you want any more information?
Do I have enough to be able to kind of optimize that and minimize the number of slams?
Well, at this point, yes. At this point, you can set up a condition for 2, which is plot a more efficient course.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, here's the problem. You don't know where the other end of the wound is. And that's why he was bumping through. He didn't have a beacon. And as you've succeeded, you might be able to, for one more point of information, you might be able to find the beacon.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Right. You notice that there is a really bizarre subspace signal that is overlaid on his data that he didn't see, and it seems to be locking onto your combat.
Oh, okay.
And the subspace signature looks like something like a ship's transporter lock.
All right. That gives us something.
So that gives you something to avoid.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
I think we lost Q.
Q's in another reality.
I was called away on extra-dimensional affairs, children. It's just the way it is. So you now have the ability to possibly navigate in a more competent way than the unfortunates of the Kitty Hawk, possibly negating the need for temporal shielding.
All right.
And so I will leave you with Kurith and your your budding relationship, as it were. Let me see, where am I at? I've got to say it. Okay. Are you guys heading, or who's heading to the uh, landing bay? Is anyone still going to attempt the landing party?
Yeah, I think that was
Because I think
Bajor and me.
yeah, I think you're going to be occupied here. That was before we knew that you could actually pilot this beast and plot a course. And again, you have a course now, but it's going to take a while to move through the calculations to do the actual task.
I will report it to the captain and let him know that there's going to change of plans.
Okay. All right. Hold on just a second. What is that? What does that sound like?
Captain, Commander Ball here. I was working with Kareth about plotting a course through the wound. I analyzed his data and I found some discrepancies and actually found an interesting signal that we can tap onto that will actually allow us to do this a little bit more safely. With your permission, I would like to forego the landing party and continue to work on this.
Perfect. You said a signal?
Yes. It seems almost like a faint transporter signal.
He did it. By God, he did it. All right. That's fine. I'll go ahead and communicate with Mr. Bajor. Let him know that he's in charge of the away team. And you checked over Kareth's math, right?
Oh yes, sir.
I don't trust 250-year-old Romulan math.
I figured it was worth a look over before heading out, so glad I did.
Wonderful. And then I'll go ahead and captain to Lieutenant Commander Burkhazen.
Yes, Captain.
The commander will not be joining you on this away mission. You are in charge. I trust your judgment. Try to contaminate the timeline as little as possible.
All right, Captain. I'll be heading to the shuttle bay right away.
Okay. And what I'm gonna do next is I gotta put Mike and Koros into the engineering bay because they're just gonna be NPCing away over here.
Just a little heads up. When you dropped out of the call, I think you also stopped screen sharing. So we're not picking up any of the cool stuff you're putting down.
Oh, that's just as well. It's well.
Just for us, I think.
You're just going to have to shield your eyes from the amazing power of this screen share.
Every time I move my arms, I immediately have to pull my shirt.
Make it so.
Yeah, the Picard maneuver.
I need a tailor or I need a onesie. All right. And what I'm going to do is have the last scene be once again Mr. Punchy. And
that's Lieutenant Commander Punchy.
Lieutenant Commander Punchy. You are on your way to the shuttle bay. You do hear some sounds from the corridor, from a side corridor. Essentially, what I'll give you is we're gonna just draw us up T junction. Oh, come now. Give me this. Just do this one thing.
Give me the lines.
What the hell, man? Thank you. This thing is not going to make my life great easy. Yeah, I'm sure that this would all be better with tabletop.
Hey, that works too.
There you go.
Yeah, it's just like killing me. All right. And snap 2. Good. This is basically your Romulan corridor, but I just wanted to give you an overview, tactically, of what you were expecting.
Didn't attend 4 years of Punchy school to be called Mr. Punchy.
Indeed, Captain.
Oh, that took your hat off, your space hat. Okay, so there's that, and then there is something down here that looks a bit like that.
Oh, it's
And
the
he's
shower,
got
thank
one of
God.
Finally.
the shower. So anyway, you do hear the sound of, as you're to your trained ear, at least it sounds like an airlock closing. And so you hear an airlock cycling, and then you and it's up to you. You don't hear these things. You have not yet rounded the corner until you wish to spy or do whatever it is you need to do.
I know that Mr. Gordo went down there, though, correct?
You're pretty sure he did.
Okay.
It's near the fresher, and somebody's jerking around with an airlock on a ship. That's always a cause for concern.
Yeah, I definitely went around that corner pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I'm going to run around that corner and call out.
You have a, even though you don't physically have the weapon, do you have a weapon drawn or not?
No.
Okay. You're figuring that the fear of you has been put into it?
No, I don't really. It's an airlock sound. I don't really have at this point any reason to draw my weapon.
Okay. So
you're cluing me in that I'm
no
probably going to be making a wrong decision, but I'm still going to.
I feel that revenge is a dish best served in a vacuum. So what?
Can I get that printed on a T-shirt?
Yes. Best vacuum packed. The you see Gordo with a crate that looks to have Romulan symbols on it, and it appears to be that he's trying to move it into the airlock.
I would definitely at this point.
Which leads to nowhere, like jettisoning it into space.
Into space, yeah. I definitely want to draw my phaser at this point. And,
all right.
Mr. Gordo, stop.
He wah. Yeah, he's very Ferengi sounding at this point.
I'm gonna set my phaser to stun and shoot him with it.
Just gonna drop him.
Yep.
Okay. Basically, it is your it's control and security.
Okay.
And it's a 2 because you're shooting. It's 2 difficulty.
I have a focus in weapons training also.
Oh, I'll bet you do.
I sure do.
All right, so that increases your critical range by whatever your security score is.
Okay, which is 13.
Okay, 13 with a critical of 4 or 5. Okay, so you have 2 dice.
I sure
Yes,
do.
that's the look you have on your face as you just open up on this man who has just been surprised over a crate.
I have rolled an 18 and a 6.
Well, that is 1 success out of 2, and therefore a miss on your you needed 2 successes to succeed and hit it.
Okay.
So you do miss him. You put a nice bit of a mark beside where he's standing, and you can decide what to do with that situation.
That was a warning shot. Stop what you're doing right now and put the crate on the ground.
Okay. He has the crate on the ground already. He moves away from the crate.
I keep my phaser pointed at him and ask him what he's doing with the crate and why.
Just getting rid of some things we don't need anymore.
By jettisoning them from the airlock, is that usually
Yeah,
standard
we will.
procedure?
Yeah. You know, where does it go in space?
Step away from the crate.
Okay, Gordo steps away from the crate. And what do you do?
While keeping my phaser trained on him, I walk over to the crate and open it up.
Kind of a messy lock. You're going to have to focus on that. Right? You might be dividing your tiny little bit of attention is just possibly too overwhelmed by a man behind you and a crate in front of you if you don't maneuver yourself carefully.
Do I have the ability to call for backup?
A big, strong security officer who roughs up everyone is going to call for backup. That's so sweet. You would have had backup if he hadn't have died. But I fear that you may call for backup, but you may also want to find out what's going on for your own. However, the medical officer is, shall we say, unoccupied at this point. I tap my communicator. Lieutenant Commander Burks.
Yes, Bajor.
If you could please come to the airlock in corridor number 6, as I am about to shoot Mr. Gordo and stun him, so I can open this crate that he was trying to jettison out of the airlock.
Yes, I'm on my way.
Okay. And this is not too much of a cliffhanger, I fear. I'm going to move over to the engineer. You guys are working on the deflector dish. Ensign Civic, what sorts of things need to happen next?
Well, if we are to maintain the being able to go through the big hole in space, I'm going to turn to Captain. Captain, I do not approve of my current situation. However, I believe if we apply a... Let's see, sorry, let me get my... if we were to modify a discriminator signal, we may be able to maintain the wideness, the existence of space slits. Captain, I would also like it noted that Dr. Burks' recent medical treatments leave a lot to be desired.
Well, maybe once we get back to the 24th century, we'll be able to take a look at that a little bit more. That's great and all, but if you don't oscillate the nucleonic capacitor, you're going to blow the whole thing up first. So we got to do that.
Okay, Kay is actually a nav officer, so she has some skill in this as well to assist if you need it.
Is she going to be punchy if I call her lieutenant again?
You can decide. I mean, it is her rank. It's how you say it. As you say, it's the thought that counts.
Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Perhaps the captain would like to remind her of her rank again.
Yeah.
Because punching down looks so good.
Right.
The true Starfleet way, yes. Poor Ensign Broccoli that you just ran out of the service. So, Lieutenant K would it actually does point out like the 3 junction switches that you were where you're going to need to do your work. So she was able to point out to you like the spots on the oscillators. Says you're going to have of a proton feedback loop across the lateral axis of the deflector dish. These Romulan things are a mess.
Yes, and I'm afraid I don't have 6 months worth of experience on 250-year-old Romulan systems. So.
Oh no, I don't want us to die. Here you go. She basically looks at you about, well, that was unnerving.
Yeah, I've never seen him do that, but the doctor assures me that's perfectly normal.
Okay.
See that? Are you okay over there?
Perfectly functional, Captain. Why do you ask?
Just making sure, buddy. I just, Captain's concern and all.
So, Civic, if you feel up to it, we need some control and engineering skill.
Oh boy.
Find that a neuro where your neuroplasticity is going to pot. So let's do that. Let's see how those tremors at rest work, shall we?
I'm sorry. What am I rolling again?
You're rolling against control and engineering.
Target.
And this is a high energy. This is kind of a high energy thing. So if you have an EPS systems.
Electroplasma power systems, and
Yes.
Does that count?
Yes, that should, because there's a lot of power and it's good enough. That's going to expand your critical range to the point of your engineering skill. So anything below that is a double. And Armin, would you please roll for Kay? She has a 14 in the relevant engineering skills as well. You'll need to get all together about 3 successes.
Oh, 3 successes. And,
11. Lieutenant Dane got an 11.
They'll say it right on her sticker. She's also not on her ship, so when she's on her ship, she's
Yeah, right now she's not the captain of anything.
Yeah.
So with a target of 17, we have rolled a 7 and a 12.
Okay.
2 successes.
2 successes. And 1 from her. That was 3. That gets you right where you need to be. It looks like you configured the deflector dish correctly. As far as you can tell, it looks like it's going to be able to stabilize the rift. And let me know when you want to fire. We can stop on that. And what I also want to do is quickly, I hate to say this, Nat, I might be shortchanging you. I'm going to flip back to this little situation. What are you guys going to do with that crate?
Well, since the lock's kind of difficult,
Now have somebody just coming around the corner with you.
Yeah, wait for me.
Boop. Yep.
There I am.
There you are. So one of you can open, one of you can watch.
yeah, I'll watch. If we could have Lieutenant Commander Burks, if you could please open that crate.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at Gordo and I'm gonna say, do you want to tell me how to get in here? Or are you going to make me figure it out?
Well, it's a latch, isn't it?
I thought you said it was a.
Is the lock on it?
No. Just,
Oh, I thought you said the lock.
It's convoluted. But I mean, look who I'm talking to. microbrain.
Where did you get that cut?
He basically looks and he said, "I bumped into a door on this stupid ship."
That's right.
Nice. Okay. Okay, so I don't need to roll anything to figure out how to open it up. I can just
No,
open
no,
it up.
it's just a standard space lock. It doesn't look like it has like the security pad like the guy had for his final treatment weapon.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. All right.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You open it up, and inside you see 6 bottles of blue liquid, lightning blue liquid.
I can't
looks
drink
sus-
Alizé.
That looks suspiciously like yeah. It's Romulan absinthe. That's what the A is for. But you see a case of Romulan ale.
Mr. Bejor, it's booze.
I think we should take that to the laboratory on the ship, Doctor, and have it analyzed.
I would love to analyze it.
Along with some chicken wings.
I'm going to analyze the hell out of this.
So
And-
that the engineer and I may better understand each other.
Mr. Gordo, you and I are going to pay a visit to the captain.
All right, you grab him by the arm. He's not going to offer a lot of resistance. And what I'd like to do is say scene at that point for the session. We've run a little long, but that leaves us all, I believe, in a reasonable place.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining in with us tonight. We definitely had some good viewership, some good participation. No redemptions that I saw, but that's okay. We got plenty of time for that. If you like the format of what we're doing, please check us out on Wednesday night, where we'll be doing 5th edition D&D campaign. And Thursday, we will be doing the part 8 of our season finale of Rifts. And of course we'll be back here next Monday for the continuation of this. Let's find a good raid.
Can I just say though, the person playing the captain almost instinctively recognizes this as the goddamn alcohol that we drank before this entire thing started.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
You know what the captain's gonna say, right? We gotta
Crack that bitch
Take it
open.
with us.
we gotta send that shit back out into space.
All right.
Well, actually, you did hear the airlock cycle once already.
Oh, okay.
Just try to keep it fresh. That's all.
Just keeping it fresh. Vacuum is very good for Romulan.
All right. And I'll see everybody later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.